In this video, we're going to show you the assembly of the Baladonia cast iron benchtop router table. While this table is small in stature, it is suitable for all workshops due to its heavy-duty quality construction. Take two legs and lay them out so the bottom of the legs are pointing towards you. The two longest cross braces are for the bottom of the stand. One is flat with a single fold and has a total of 7 holes on the one face. This is for the front of the stand, and we will be assembling the A-frame for the front of the stand first. Take this cross brace and put two cup head M6 bolts through on both ends and then lay it down on the bench. The folded side of the brace should be pointing towards the bottom of the stand. Next, grab one of the second longest cross braces. This has 7 holes on the face plus 3 holes on the folded edge. 2 tabs stick out further than the rest of the folded steel. The folded edge should be orientated towards the top of the stand, the opposite direction of the lower cross brace. Once you've tightened all the nuts on the top cross brace, set aside the first A-frame so you can work on the second one. The other longest cross brace has a U cut out of it. Ensure that the U is pointing towards the top of the stand when assembling it onto the legs. The reason for this U cutout is if you choose to mount the optional dust collection box, this cutout has enough clearance for the 4-inch outlet built into the base. The top cross brace is the same as on the first A-frame, so attach this once you have put on the bottom brace. Once you have attached the bottom and top cross brace on the second A-frame, we now need to put the remaining cross braces on to complete the stand. The lower brace only has 6 holes in the face of it. The fold should be orientated towards the bottom of the stand as per the other lower cross braces. The upper cross braces have 6 holes on the face and 4 slots on the folded edge. The fold should be at the top of the stand as per the other cross braces. When the 4 cross braces have been put onto the second A-frame, flip it upside down and use the 8 bolts to attach the first A-frame to complete the stand. Remember at this stage that all bolts are just finger tight, so there should be some movement in the stand. All of the cross braces have square cutouts so the bolts don't twist when being tightened. When assembling the stand, always ensure you use a flat washer before attaching the nut. While the stand is upside down, bolt the feet into place. You do this by pushing the Phillips head bolt through the rubber foot and then push that through the bottom of the stand. A flat washer and nut go on the inside of the stand. Tighten these up completely. Flip the stand over and attach the last cross brace to the stand. When looking at the stand from the front, this should go on your left hand side of the table. This would make it the outfeed side of the stand. On the front bolt, take the U-shaped black bracket and push a bolt through it and then push that onto the cross brace before putting the nut onto the stand. This bracket is an Allen key wrench holder if you choose to get the separate router lift for this table. The rear bolt can be put on as per normal. Once this has been done, take the other black powder coated bracket and use the 2 included M4 screws to screw this to the cross brace. This bracket is for storing the miter guard out of the way when it's not in use. The last step to complete the stand is to attach the switch. To do this, you need to take it off its black mounting bracket. Undo the 4 screws holding the face on so you can gain access to the 4 screws that mount it to the bracket. Undo those 4 screws so the switch box is completely removed from the steel mounting bracket. You can now screw this bracket onto the stand as shown. When it's been screwed in place, screw the switch box back onto the bracket and then the front of the switch box back onto the case.
Super flat fence. These are available in 2 different lengths, 27-inch for the benchtop router table and 32-inch for the floor router tables. All of the components are made out of aircraft grade aluminium. So you've got the fence and then you've got the two mounting brackets. What I'm going to do now is assemble the mounting brackets and then we'll look at assembling the fence.
Take one of the underside table mounting brackets and a side fence mount. You need to attach 3 of the zinc-plated M8 bolts with a washer under the bolt head and with a square nut loosely tightened as shown in the slots on the side fence mount. Once that's done, get your underside table mount bracket and slide the channel of this bracket over the 3 square nuts. The edge of the bracket with the 3 mounting slots cut into it should be facing towards the top vertically and away horizontally from the side fence mount. Repeat the same steps with the second bracket.
So once you've assembled the mounting brackets, what you need to do now is put the sub-fences onto the main fence itself. The way to do that is just to take 3 of these large bolts and slide them into the T-track in the back of the sub-fences.
You push the bolts through the holes on the fence, and as I flip it around you can see them protruding through the back of the fence. Put one washer and a plastic knob on the 2 outer bolts and loosely tighten. Repeat the process with the other sub-fence. You can now slide the dust outlet port onto the 2 innermost bolts, then repeat the same step as before. Slide on a flat washer and a plastic knob to hold it all in place. Lastly, you need to attach the orange finger guard to the front of the fence. Do this by taking the T-bolt and sliding one of the plastic washers over the bolt. There are 2 sides to this plastic washer, the side with rounded corners on the track that goes on the side of the guard, and the other side with the square edge track that goes on the side of the fence. Once you've done both, slide the bolt heads into the T-slot on the front of the fence to the correct position and tighten as appropriate. The fence and the stand has been assembled, so we now need to get these onto the tabletop. Unpack the tabletop and lie it face down on the bench. There are a set of 3 holes running along each edge of the short side of the table. These are for the mounting of the fence brackets. Take the first fence side mount and lay it down over the 3 threaded holes. Align the bracket parallel with the edge of the table and tighten the 3 hex drive bolts to lock it into position. Repeat this for the other side. If you have bought the optional dust collection box, please fit this to the underside of the table now. Place the stand so that the U-shaped brace is on the same side as the fence mounts, at the back of the table. Fix the stand to the tabletop using 4 of the included hex drive bolts. The bolts go into the corner slots on the short sides of the top cross braces. Now that the table has been attached, flip the whole assembly over and you can tighten all of the remaining bolts on the stand. The way that the stand has been designed, it is usually quite close to being square and level, but double check this before tightening all bolts and adjust as necessary. This should be a simple process. Clean the rust inhibiting grease from the tabletop using a normal cloth and methylated spirits. Make sure that you get in and clean both the miter and T-slots now so that the grease doesn't harden and increase friction when in use. There are a total of 8 self-leveling screws that need to be installed roughly now. Just screw them in place for the time being, awaiting the router mounting plate. After cleaning the table, you need to make sure that the fence mounting brackets are level with the surface of the tabletop. They can be slightly above the surface of the table, but never below the surface. Check the front and the back of the bracket and then tighten the 2 outer bolts and finally the last central bolt to lock it in place. Once you've done this on both sides, you can slide your fence onto the brackets. Always make sure that the included flat washer for the fence locking knobs is above the fence. There is minimal clearance in the channel of the fence mounts, and without the washer you will mark the channel. Shown here on the floor standing version, you will see two small lines scribed on the front and back edge of the table. These show the central line over the plate opening for quick and easy alignment. Align the fence of these scribes, then adjust the movable scales to line up. At any time you can realign the scales as necessary to create new reference points for measuring fence travel. This is a very handy feature of these tables.
Now you need to mount your router onto the router mounting plate. With the benchtop router table, we're actually using the aluminium mounting plate rather than the plastic plate. The benefit of the aluminium plate is it's actually a little bit thinner than the plastic, and the other good thing as well is that once they cut it to shape, they then make sure it's perfectly flat, whereas with the plastic plates you can't do that. The other benefit of the aluminium plate is that once you've mounted it in the router, it doesn't tend to sag over time like the plastic plate does. So for the difference of about $50, we generally recommend to use the aluminium mounting plates. What you need to do is you need to take the plastic base off the bottom of your router, and then you need to overlay that onto the mounting plate. You can see on the bottom of the mounting plate that there are these rings that are marked on the bottom of the plate. This is so that you can line up the base against one of the rings, and then when you drill the hole, the router bit will be perfectly central into the centre of the plate when you mount it in the table. So what we need to do first is unscrew the base. Once you take the base off the router, you can see that there will be two holes that you need to drill. The hole for the screw to go the whole way through, and also a casing to get the screw into the mounting plate. What you do is you simply overlay that plate, and then once you've found the correct ring that matches the diameter of the base plate, you then need to drill the holes. So once you've drilled the hole in the mounting plate, all you need to do is just screw the mounting plate onto the router. You don't need to attach the plastic base to the router again, you just attach the mounting plate directly to the router base. In this situation here, there's an insert ring which actually won't go over this router bit, so what you need to do is you just need to remove the insert ring first. So you just get this twist lock spinner, and just remove the insert plate. Then grab your router, and just overlay the plate on the top. Then you just need to line up the holes and screw in place.
We now need to get the router mounting plate level on the table surface. We suggest that you check the depth of each screw to be close to around 6 mm below the surface of the table. Here we've left them quite far up so you can easily see the gap under the straight edge. Adjust the leveling screws until the plate is flush with the rest of the table. Once this has been set, take the mounting plate back out of the table and get the locking nuts. Hold the leveling screw as you tighten the nut from underneath by hand. When it is reasonably tight, use a screwdriver to hold the leveling screw in place and do the lock nut up tight. This will ensure your plate always stays level no matter how many times you take it in and out of the table. You can now put the fence on, plug your router into the remote switch and get routing.